podcast with our host, Scott Smith. Scott, what's going on, man? How are you?
Neil, I'm spectacular. How are you, man?
Fantastic. I'm excited about our guest.
Yeah, me too. We have a great guest today. And I'm going to say your first name wrong. Nemanja?
That's right. No, the first one was right.
Nemanja. See, I knew it was right. I call you Ned because you told me to call you Ned. This is Ned Lukic.
Yes, thank you. Thank
Hey,
you for having me. I get that all the time, so don't feel any sort of way. Believe it or not, it does happen often.
okay.
I'm sure. Well, Ned, welcome to the show. We're happy that you're here. We want to talk to you a little bit today about you and your organization, True Euro.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
Awesome.
Neil, you ready?
I'm
Yeah,
excited to
let's
be
just go
here.
and let's go. And Scott, what's your first question?
All right, let's dive in. So, Ned, what inspired you to create True Euro? How did you
So,
identify the need for specialized tax consulting and especially focusing on R&D tax credits? That seems like such a niche.
correct, and that's one of the reasons why I ended up doing that. So, I've been in finance for a long time, helping businesses succeed, either through banking or just financial advice and growth. And there's a part of me that always wanted to help more, and this was one of those things that I found that is underutilized. A lot of these CPAs that I work with aren't able to do this for their clients effectively unless you have a big large firm. So I really want to. I think this creates a huge impact for businesses, helps them grow, helps them be successful, and it's really a fun job. So.
It sounds like it for sure. And figuring out, explain how this works with taxes the way you do it.
So the research and development tax credit reduces your tax liability dollar for dollar, right? So it's defined by the IRS. There's a four-part test that's accomplished alongside with a lot of rules. And what it does is when your CPA comes either soon or it has come already and says, hey, Neil, I need a check for X amount, the credit reduces that directly. So you
Okay.
just pay a lot less.
Got it. Got it. Explain further how that's done.
So what we do is we conduct a whole study where we interview the people involved. So there's IRS requirements and there's a audit techniques guide that's offered by the IRS alongside with a lot of studies that have done and been done. So what we do is we interviewed obviously the owner. We talk to the people that we qualify. So we'll identify a group of people with the owner, go in the company, talk to everybody, and qualify the activities that they perform that are allowed under the IRS Section 41. And then we'll look at their expenses like materials and supplies that might be used in development alongside any third-party contractors that the company may have paid. And then what we do is we pull all that together, including the Box 1 W-2 wages, the materials and supplies, and then the third-party contractor costs. And the IRS will give you a portion of that money back because they want to kind of inspire innovation in the U.S. And then a lot of the states follows, although the states have some slightly different rules how you can use them. But certain states like Pennsylvania, where I live, you can actually sell the credit for cash. So it ends up being really lucrative. It's a nice way to generate money. And like I said, we complete the whole study and we deliver the tax documents. And the clients, at least for us, generally gets a reduction of their tax between $70,000 and $130,000 on average per year.
So that, I mean, that just seems so impactful to me, and when you talk about the ability for that to really affect businesses, talk a little bit more about, not only the financial impact, but how what you're doing really helps, and with the R&D tax credit specifically, really helps to foster innovation.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, innovation is really what generates the credit. And because of the way that the tax code is written, pretty much every business innovates in some way or to some extent. right? It's really hard to stay in business and not kind of move the needle forward. The way this really helps is by freeing up a lot of that money or allowing you to keep a lot of that money instead of sending it to the IRS. So if you're keeping, $80,000, that just gives you the opportunity to reinvest right back in your business. You can hire that person that you needed to hire, or you can, if you're a manufacturer that we work a lot, to put a down payment on a new piece of machinery that'll kind of move them forward and ahead of the competitors. There's so many things you can do when you have that money. We even had some clients that offered extra benefits to their employees, right? With all this newfound money, what they did is they said, hey, listen, we just got this. We didn't do anything extra for it. This is something that we received by doing exactly what we're doing through the efforts of our employees. And we're going to give back. And they offered them a much better plan that was actually funded by the tax credit, essentially.
That's crazy. And a lot of people don't know about this, do they?
Absolutely. So yes, that's one of the biggest challenges that we face is people just think it's too good to be true, right? Because nobody's going to give you that much money without some sort of a requirement or some sort of a catch. But it really is that it's been around since the 80s, at least in a similar iteration that it is now. It's of course evolved, but yeah, a lot of people don't know it exists. A lot of people think like, hey, that's for the big companies like Apple and Microsoft. But in reality, a lot of the small businesses, even, we just did a client that's an accounting firm, because they own a piece of software that they're offering to their clients. And we found a lot of money there. We found close to a little bit over $70,000 there for them. And they're just an accounting firm. They offer outsourced accounting. So the potential there is for everybody. That's why I always tell anybody, let's have a conversation, because what you considered, or a lot of people consider R&D, the guys with beakers and lab coats and walking around, while that's also R&D, there's a lot of stuff that people don't consider that actually qualifies under the rules and guidance of the IRS.
See, I just find that also fascinating. So the way that you describe it, you said that some things have been around since the 80s in one iteration or another, but things, are kind of constantly evolving, right? That tax landscape is a constantly evolving landscape. So how do you stay ahead of regulatory changes and to make sure that your clients can remain compliant?
So we of course follow all the releases of the, when the IRS releases any updates. Generally, before we file any credit, especially on the state level, we make sure that we go to the state's website, we talk to the state representative if we need to, and make sure we have all the details before we file anything, because this is this does go on the tax returns and it is filed with the state on the same level. So we're always making sure that we're up to date on the requirements, the rules, the regulations. I also, have subscription to magazines, accounting stuff, as well as, anytime anybody hosts any accounting things where they kind of discuss accounting and the state of accounting, I try to attend, because more knowledge is always, even with, if I have a big company like one of the big fours, and they're hosting a webinar or something, and they're like, hey, let's discuss it. Even if I know what they're going to discuss and I'm pretty familiar with it, I'll attend it just to get more knowledge. But like I said, the IRS is our primary. You go right to the source, man.
Right.
Those are
Now,
people that
or
make,
is it only certain filings you can do it, the R&D?
so it's for any business in the United States. So
It could be sole proprietorship too, or not, or it has to be all, huh?
no, it could be any business, any tax-paying business in the U.S.
Wow. And
Yeah,
how do you, and you guys are the ones that can go out and help you figure out how you can get this done, right? Because it's not easy.
correct. Yeah, so it's not something you have to do on your own. We'll come out. I'll have multiple calls depending on where it is. We work nationally, so either through Zoom or I've traveled all the way to Texas, Arizona, for just to make sure, because as you get stuff through the call, it's great, but I still like to check that what the client said. Not that I don't trust them, but that it exists and it's there, and that they are doing what they're doing. So,
That,
yeah,
I think you just rocked Neil's business mind just now. I saw those gears turning in
Yeah,
there.
it intrigues me because again, it's another thing. It's another way of using money to help grow your business. And I mean, we've heard of R&D before, but we never knew that it would all, we always think of startups with R&D, right? That's the big thing. And that
Right.
their first round of R&D and getting it going and all these things, but you never thought for everybody else, right?
right, absolutely. So, and that's one of the mistakes a lot of people make is that they believe that R&D is just that initial push, or if you have if you're developing a product itself, some of that is assigned to R&D. But fortunately for everybody that lives in the U.S., the IRS definition is a lot broader, and they really want to innovate not only in product world but things like process improvements, way to do things better, faster, cheaper. I mean, that's really what they want to reward, and that's why the credit exists.
I think that's just amazing. So, all right. So, talk a little bit about how you work with like company accountants or CPAs. How does the collaborative approach benefit businesses when it comes to their tax planning and compliance?
So the way we do that is we're not an accounting firm at all. So we don't offer any accounting advice at all. We specialize in this niche area because, for one, my belief is that you can do a couple things really well, or you can do a lot of things kind of average. And I've decided on the first to just do a few things well. So and that's another reason why I don't offer CPA services is because I work very closely with the CPA. So I never wanted to have any kind of like, hey, I'm going to steal your business because now, I'm going to save your client $70,000. Let me take him. So I didn't want any of that when I started my business. So I specialize in this and I work very closely. I give everything to the CPA so they get the required IRS tax forms. They get my calculations so they can see how I came up with all the numbers. And then there's also a report that in case of an audit, which we offer unlimited audit support with every study we deliver, is the CPA has access to all of that. And then of course we're always available to talk to them. I just did a filing that I spent on Saturday. I spent 4 hours with the CPA for one of our clients, and we made sure that the credits were applied properly because we amended some tax years, that all the documentation was there, that he had everything he needs. And it was a Zoom call. We shared screen and we went through his tax software, making sure that everything carries over, that it makes sense. So we work really closely with CPAs. They're some of our best referrals come through them because they're the guys that know the businesses that are accompanied there and what they do. And often, a conversation starts just like that. It's like, hey, I have somebody. Do you think there's anything there? They'll send me the company website, and then we'll look at it and then say, hey, let's have that conversation. And then, we'll normally take it up because we take care of everything. They just end up taking care of the filing or if there's amended filing. But in regards to the tax credits, we provide everything they need.
That's great. Some definitely something, and that's why you guys only focus on this, right? To be the
Correct. In part, right? Because if I start offering accounting services, which has been offered to me, even the outsourced ones, then I always feel like I'm kind of, because I work closely with a lot of CPAs and a lot of companies. I never want to be in a position where, you feel like, hey, if I call Ned in and I have him do this, like, what's for him to take? Like, hey, that guy didn't save you $70,000. I'm saving you 70,000. Let me do everything for you because it's just going to be easier. I don't want to do that. I never wanted to have those kinds of relationships, or even in like the back of somebody's head. So this keeps it simple for me. It's more fun than accounting work, to be honest with you. And so this is what I do. Nothing for the accountants, but I don't have the patience for accounting.
No shots at accountants at all, right? So I've got a couple of those in my family, and they are the most fun. So let's just be
Yeah,
honest, right?
They're great. Like I said, I personally don't have the patience to sit there and run through. The tax code is like 74,000 pages long when you take the whole thing with the studies and the law and everything. So it's a huge chunk that they have to know that I don't have the brain for. So I like to specialize and I work with them and I let them do their thing. And I think, clients end up making out way better than they possibly could otherwise.
All right. Best place we can find information on you.
So I have a website. It's trueeuro.us, and of course, everybody's always free to reach out to me. Of course, my first name, which is Nemanja at trueeuro.us. You can send me an email, you send me a form, or call me. I have a LinkedIn profile as well. It's great. Any way you reach me works for me. You can give me a call if you want. I don't know if I'm allowed to share my phone number, but
Go ahead and show your phone number. Go.
it's 610-573-9408. If I don't answer, just leave me a message. I'll get back to anybody. This is something I recommend to everybody. Is a 5-minute conversation could save you a ton of money. It's usually how it starts. It's just a quick call. Say, hey, this is what I do. What do you think? And then we go on. So I'll either help you, or I'll just be honest and be like, sorry, there's not a lot there, and then we just kind of go our separate ways.
Perfect. Okay. That was a special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and the Business Spotlight podcast.